It is a long time. Yes. Assignment 3 is the most important assignment. Okay? In this assignment, you are going to need to present a verbal presentation with a PowerPoint /style. Everyone calls them PowerPoints. What's the official term? Like a slide presentation, you reckon? Like without using PowerPoint as a word? A slide presentation? So slide presentation. So you've done a physical poster. The second one is purely just a digital model, okay? But it's still important what you're communicating there. There's that 300-word thing, remember? You got to write some words. Basically, it's not hard. 300 words, it's nothing. But for the final presentation, I'm looking at trying to keep this space for the full 4 hours. So that way we can just stay here and present. And because it's in week 15, that means normally all the other classes are doing exams. So we should be able to keep this space, okay? I'm going to keep looking into that. Second thing, that means because there's 40 of you, roughly, that means you'll each get 2 hours divided by 40. That's not enough. Is there still 40? 40, there's still 40 students. You'll get 6 minutes each. Okay? Some of you are going to present prior because you're going to China. So we're going to organize a session after work to do that. Also, week 13, we do not have a lecture or a tutorial. Okay? Because that's when your assignment really should be due. Because that's the last teaching day of the semester. The last teaching week, right? So we're going to offset that to week 15 so you have more time to do your assignment. Cool? Yeah? So there's no class week 13. Also, I'm going to be away for 2 weeks. I'm going to Mexico. So, I've been practicing my Spanish. There is, for example, narcotraficante. Yeah, and organo de trasplanto. Right, so those of you who want to look it up, you can find out what I just said. Very useful words in Mexico. Okay. Transporte is drug dealer. Is drug dealer, and organo de transplant is organ transplant. Like, yeah, as you, No, this is Spanish, not Italian.
When a US for a kidney comes for a heart.
It's the other way around. It's transplant to the organ.
I'll try and stay as safe as possible. Everyone's super worried about it. I'm like, it's fun.
Why do you love Coke to me?
No, I'm not. Like real Coca-Cola. Like the stuff that actually has cocaine in it.
Yes.
That's what Coke has. Coke in Mexico has cocaine in it. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. I think. Like, I don't know. Fact check me. You're on your phone. So what that means is I'm going to be, guys, I'm going to be away on the 17th and the 24th of October. Okay? I believe. Let's do this now. What week is it this week? 1926.
Oh, they only have 1 week.
3. Huh?
Only 1 week, right?
No, week 9 is considered a week, but there's no classes.
Oh, so there's no class next week.
I don't think so. There shouldn't be.
There's no classes, but some classes do.
My engineering course. Computer science.
It's a special FP holiday.
But I'm pretty sure Bolivar has 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're not going back to August.
I just realised.
Huh? Shit, my bad.
17.
No, I'm just checking. Okay,
10 plus 7 is.
I get it, mate. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to work out what the events are around it because I know the Monday. I'm just checking the Monday, what day that is. That's all I'm doing. Yeah, so guys, that means I'm only away for one of the weeks. This is good. Because week 13 doesn't exist, right? So we move to. So those of you who are leaving to go to usually China, right? We need to work out today which day you're going to do your verbal presentation with Julia and me, okay? Because I think this is the 3rd. Huh? I'm away from the 17th to the 24th. Which actual days? The 14th.
对，那就是3号。我觉得你没什么好高兴的，因为你13号。
5号再走呀。
哎，我也是5号。对啊。他是不是
Okay. So, guys, I'm going to be away from the 14th to the 27th. 27th is a Friday. So, when are we? We don't want to do 4 different people on 4 different days. Those of you who won't be here for the final presentation in week 15, which will be I believe the 7th of November. No, it's the 7th. Yes, you're still here on the 7th. Some people are still doing exams. Okay, so those of you who can't be on the 7th, you have to basically pick a day either after the 27th or before the 14th that we're gonna do this presentation. Okay?
14th? No. 30th.
No, it's the 14th of October. Oh, you want week 14?
No, I mean the week 14, 11.
11, 31st.
Week 13.
11, 31st. Andrew,
Yeah.
the week 14th is November.
Oh, is it? No, it's not. Oh, yeah, it's just another. Okay, I get it. I get it.
10才。哎，那好呀，那是。
Okay? So can you work that out during the lecture and we'll talk about it in the tutorial? Okay, so you missed all the important stuff, guys. So you've got a test now. Yeah. Explain a for loop.
For something in a range, it does it again and again.
Okay, can you write one?
Yes.
Come on. No, I'm just fucking with you, mate. Alex, have you had sleep today? Good.
I missed my first lecture. I slept through my alarm.
Yeah, you know what to talk about.
He's gonna be in the Chinese group
Who?
because he has.
You going to China?
No.
You got to graduate on the 9th?
No, the 20-minute presentation.
On the 9th of what? That's 2 days after your presentation here. Okay. Okay. So guys, assignment 3. Now that everyone is actually here, assignment 3 is going to require you to take your residence and your cinema and, as a brief, create a residence and cinema at the same time, okay? So, that does not mean you can just take assignment 2 and attach it to assignment 1, okay? Because assignment 1, the changes that need to be made is your cinema needs to be double the square meterage. So that means double the amount of people. Yeah? So you can't just submit half a cinema because you need to make your cinema bigger. Okay? We want to see you develop your ideas from assignment 1 and 2. So we're going to get the marks back to you fairly soon. That means we want to see things progress, okay? If you've just got a cinema from assignment 1, we can go back to your assignment 1 and go, one of these, like these are basically spot the difference, there's no difference, we're not going to be happier, okay? So, for some of you, that means actually designing the interior of the cinema and not just the exterior. We want to see these things working well, okay? Second thing, the house and the client that you've worked with needs to be the same client as this cinema attachment. So those of you who've chosen the director, who's got the director? 1, 2? Okay, so a portion. Your director space needs to be the one where they store the like a library. That needs to be public. Okay? The writer space, that needs to be very private. Okay? So you've got a building that needs people to come in, public people, but the writer's writing space needs to be incredibly private. And the animator or visual effects person, their space needs to be visible, but only accessible by the animator. Does that make sense? So the animator wants to be on show. People should be able to see what they're doing inside, but they can't get in. The director, people can go in. It's going to be used as an actual museum. And the writer's space needs to be incredibly private. For the director's space, we're going to double the square meterage for it.
What size is the house, cinema, everything sit on? Like, what's the lot size?
It was you guys' choice. It was the Royal Botanic Gardens.
Yeah, no, but we can expand our lot size
Yeah.
to make it like
You didn't have a lot. The lot size was the Botanic Gardens.
the whole of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just make a section.
There was a limit to how much floor area you could put on the site,
Yeah.
but the site wasn't limited in space. Okay?
So the director's space doesn't even need to be right next to the house. It could be
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yep. So the director's space is double the square meterage in surface area. So does anyone remember what it was?
100.
It was 100 square meters, so it needs 200 square meters. Whoop. The writer's space needs to have, we want to make sure now that this, because this is a working space, it needs to have a good view of somewhere, of Sydney, of outside. Okay, this is the trick. This is tricky. Okay, so you're in the Royal Botanic Gardens. You've got a very beautiful space. What was the condition for the writer? You had a outdoor space with an indoor space that could look out into the outdoor space, right? Now, an extra requirement is somewhere in here, you also need to be able to see Sydney or the Royal Botanic Gardens. At the same time, it also has to be incredibly private. Okay? Tricky. Yeah. It's doable. It's incredibly doable. Okay? And then for the animator, we want to add I'm going to add a 4th story to it. Okay, so it has to be 4 stories instead of 3 or 2. So it has to be 4. And as well, the stories above need to be accessible. Okay, so we're talking gangways, mezzanines, all of those types of things. Cool? Okay. And we are going to add this is purely so that we don't see 2 designs just get stuck onto each other. It actually forces you to think about redeveloping this thing. So that's visible, good views. Oop. Oop. And just to throw one more curveball in there. 1 plus 1 bedroom. Okay? Don't worry about the square meterage. That's cool. The problem with square meterage is solved in terms of the way of thinking. Like, let's be creative, okay? Let's get a bit more expressive in our ideas. Let's do something that we could basically put up and look at it as a piece of art more than just design, okay? Push yourselves. Cool? You've got literally half the semester to make something amazing, which also means I don't want to see something that was started in week 13. Okay? I had one student who I gave a 2-week extension to once, and I could tell he had started it 2 days prior to the thing being due. Okay? So when I say I can see everything, that means everything. Okay? So there are things in these files that store data, and I can see that. Cool? Last thing, and this is something that ties in very well with Rob's class. The presentation needs to be presented through a HTML website. Huh? Can you use templates? No, I would like you to use a JavaScript workflow called reveal.js, and I'm going to talk you through it right now. Okay?
Is this excluding me?
Huh?
Are you excluding me from the reply?
No.
Seeing as I'm not taking the class, I don't know how to use HTML.
I'm about to teach you how to do it.
Okay, but they've got a whole class devoted to it.
Yeah, and they're not learning that. Okay, so let's go have a look at Reveal. If I need to do another lecture about Reveal, I will. When I'm here next semester, next half. In the week that I'm not here, do you want to do a guest lecture?
It's the last one.
Yeah.
Let's see how they go.
Sure.
I can do a guest lecture, or I can start.
We could just start the tutorial.
design
Yeah,
reviews
that's
straight
good.
away here, because if I'm alone, it's gonna take much more.
We might get Charlotte and Branko to come back maybe.
Just what week?
Yeah, 1 week.
But what week?
12. Reveal.js, the HTML presentation framework. The reason I love this is it actually allows you to code your presentations. I love coding everything. I literally code my illustrations now. It's awesome, okay? It's a very simple framework, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to just steal it. We're going to steal this from their website. It's not stealing, but we can actually use their HTML from this and just get something up, okay? So what we're going to do with Reveal.js is, on their website, let's go right-click it, pull up the view page source, and we're just going to copy all of this HTML into a Sublime or whatever you guys use. What do you guys use? Atom? Whatever. Whatever IDE text editor you want. Do you have a text editor? Like this? Ollie?
Anaconda. You know if Anaconda is anything that's
I don't know. Sublime Text 3 is free. It's really good. So is Atom. And they're really quick to get. So, pardon?
Yes.
Yeah, you can use whatever you want. If you want to make the judgment on what you want to use it. So what we're going to do is sort of dissect this to the point where we don't need various things. Yeah. Actually, do we want to copy it? Will it be easier? Actually, it's probably going to be easier if you go to one of my lectures, because I've stripped out most of this shit that you don't need. So if we go to one of my lectures, we'll do that. So everyone except for Ollie should be fairly familiar with how referencing works in HTML now. Pardon?
Just copy the go to week 5.
Or week 1? Okay, so most of this stuff, you can see I've literally copied this from the Reveal website, because here under meta name description, a framework for easily creating beautiful presentations using HTML, and it's made by Hakim El Hattab, etc., etc. Thank you, Hakim. We can actually get rid of most of this stuff, the meta. And what's left is we are looking for this reveal.css link and the black.css link, right? So these are references that we haven't downloaded yet. So if we go to the reveal.js website and go to their GitHub, you can download all of this stuff, okay? So we're gonna do that. We'll step it through. We're literally taking this as a step by step by step. So we'll go to the reveal.js GitHub page. You can get there by clicking on the little fork me on GitHub tag in the top right corner. And in here, we're going to clone or download, and in this case, I'm just going to download it because I don't want to clone it. Cool. Okay, that's downloaded very quick. So, is this recording? Let's double check. Yes, it is. Excellent. Okay, so we have our Reveal.js master. We're going to set up a little folder. I'll just do it in my downloads here. And I'll go presentation. And I'm going to dump my Reveal.js master zip file into presentation. And I'm going to extract it here. Cool, so that's there. What we probably want to do is just jump in there, grab everything in that folder, cut it, and then paste it into the top folder. And if we actually check out his index, that's actually working. Actually, we could probably just use that index. Let's do that. Okay? So that's already working. If we right-click and open this in whatever text editor you've got, it then gives you the simplest of Reveal templates. Okay? And the key thing here is in the XML section body, everyone knows what body is? Yeah? Body. In a div with the class Reveal, in another div with class Slides, there are sections, and your sections are effectively your slides in the presentation. Okay? So if you want to write something on one slide, then just you can throw in a section, put the text in like a title, and you're done. Okay? Simple stuff. Really, when it comes to design presentations, though, you guys want to be presenting images, okay? And so they haven't actually done a very good job with giving you examples of how to put images in. So if we jump over to the file that I had you copy, we can find sections in that, like this one, where I've set a class to be contain and a data background to be an image. Okay? Let's copy one of those over to our other file. So we'll put that in as the section after slide 2. Now, is everyone as super familiar with CSS as possible now? Do you want me to re-explain it? You don't need me to re-explain it? Like, the thing is, I have to explain it to Ollie, effectively. Would it be worth me re-explaining it to you guys? Okay. So, CSS, or cascading style sheets, are just ways of applying how things look to objects, such as a HTML page, by using attributes that sit on them, okay? So, for example, I could use a style sheet, a CSS, to color up or apply finishes in a building, right? So if I had a building, can you see this? Can everyone see? Yeah. Okay, so if I had a building where I had a toilet, a bedroom, a living room, another toilet, a kitchen, and a laundry, right? I could put classes on these rooms other than just their names, right? So for example, the toilet, the other toilet, the kitchen, and the laundry, what do they share in common? Yeah, they're wet areas, right? So if I were to put a plasterboard ceiling in a wet area, I actually have to specify that to be moisture resistant because plasterboard actually rots. It gets mold and it turns disgusting, okay? It goes soggy and it actually, like, can you imagine like looking up at a ceiling and seeing something growing? That's what happens with plasterboard in wet areas, okay? So we need moisture resistant. So what I could do is to say, this is a wet area, wet area, wet area, wet area as a class, okay? And in my CSS, there, CSS, I can then define the rules that get applied to those rooms. So I can say class, which is always done as a full stop, wet area, apply these rules, ceiling equals moisture resistant plasterboard, okay? So then what happens is, without even thinking, my house will get moisture resistant plasterboard as a ceiling, okay? Then I could then say, I want to make sure that my bathrooms have tiling on their walls, right? So the name is WC. So therefore, name equals WC is walls equals tiling. Cool? So then the toilets are now they now have a ceiling and wall finish just by using this cascading style sheet. And if I go in and draw more things in there that are actually wet areas, as long as it knows that they're wet areas, it can apply them. Okay? That's how cascading style sheets works. Does that line up with what you guys know about CSS? Yes. Do you get it? Okay, so what that means is on a website, and the reason I use a building as an example is I honestly think CSS would be a fantastic tool for BIM and architectural design, because we can set up style sheets, CSS, for buildings, and then we can start building them and we actually sensibly get some outcomes, and we just go through and override what we don't want, and it will make things faster. But that's an idea that for another day. What do we want? We want CSS Zen Garden, I think it is. So CSS is very powerful to the point where it's practically styles every website that we see. So this website is styled with CSS. I want you to consider all the content that you're seeing here, like the text and the titles and all of that. That is not CSS. That is something that sits in the HTML. The CSS effectively controls how that website looks. This is the same website with a different CSS. Okay? Or same website, different CSS. Okay? So it's very powerful if you know what you're doing. So it just changes how it looks. So the key thing here is I've put a class on this section that's going to be an image, and that class is called contain. And all contain, I've set that up in my CSS to do, is just make sure that when I put an image in my background, that the image stays inside the frame of your presentation. Okay? That's all that's for, but the point is we have to bring that CSS across. So if we go back to the copy, if you scroll up, we can see here, I've written here a style which collects the full stop contain, full stop meaning class, so it's picking up class contain, and it sets the background size to contain, and it also makes it important, so it overrides everything. So we're going to copy that across into our main site, and we are going to place that in the head. So this section here is the head. Let's put it under the script there and save it, okay? So now our CSS is grabbing our images, okay? We now just need to tell it to get an image. So I'm gonna go grab an image because I'm sure all the images on my laptop are not safe for work.
Oh, you remember the site for True Size Of?
Pardon?
You know the site for True Size Of?
Yeah.
No longer exists.
Really?
Yeah.
What, since like only just a
Like
few
2
weeks ago?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It was like a billing thing or something, Google. Yeah, it says, I think it was, they changed their billing arrangement or something. Or,
Shit, okay.
yeah, that was interesting. That was good.
I'll host it. I'm happy to host. That's easy. I've got a website, might as well host it. What are we doing? We want.
Yeah.
The reason I'm doing the Nyan Cat GIF is because you can do GIFs, okay? You can do videos, so it's just to prove a point more than anything. So I'm going to save my link. No, I don't want to do that. Save my image. I'm going to go to my downloads where I saved it, presentation. In my presentation folder, let's create another folder called images. And in here, I will save nyancat.gif. So in our HTML, here under the data background, we can then set a reference of image, and in my case, nyancat.html, .gif, and I'll save that. So what that means is, opening that file up, we get slide 1, we get slide 2, and then, please do it. Did it break?
Oh, you called it images.
Ah, that's right. Sharp. Arlene's too sharp for me. And there's Nyan Cat contained within the image. Okay, so you've basically got, you can put images in your website now, right? Not only images, you can put GIFs. Cool? Okay. So last thing, the presentation matters for conveying atmosphere, conveying what you're trying to communicate, okay? So in this case, a black background with a white text isn't maybe not the perfect thing for a Nyan Cat, right? So what we have to do is potentially use some CSS to spruik it up, okay? So Reveal comes with some free CSS in the themes. So we can see here, there's a few themes that they've provided. And all we really have to do is find out their name to then go find out how they look. So we can see here, Solarized. If we then apply that, so in here, we've got CSS theme black. If we say Solarized, we then get our Solarized theme applied to the presentation, okay? If you want to make your own theme, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, okay? But there's a few themes there that you can play around with, and like they will respond to titles. So, for example, if we put slide 1 as a header, so that means if you wrap it in a H1 XML, so H1 and /H1 at the end, and so on and so forth, then there's styling that they've put in there for titles. And so in this case, they've changed the font to be something a bit punchy, okay? We good? You've literally got your own digital way of carrying around presentations anywhere that has access to the internet now, right? Because you can host this on GitHub. It runs on JavaScript, so you can take your presentations wherever you want. You can control them, you can code them, you can JavaScript them. It's designed so that if you hit escape, it has a nice little map so you can navigate through, okay? So it's good. It means you don't have to literally go to Google to use Google Slides, even though Google Slides is good. And it's just another way, because most of you guys know how to do presentations with PDF and PowerPoint, I'm guessing. So might as well take the next step, be computational design presenters. Okay? Is everyone confident that they can put a presentation together?
Yeah, no.
It's pretty simple, guys.
Mind if I just borrow some of the templates and spruce up the...
Yeah, you're welcome to use whatever start CSS is there. Okay? If you think that you can get away with not using Reveal, but using HTML in any way to do a presentation, I'm happy for you to do that. Okay? So I had a student last year decide, I don't want to use Reveal. She wanted to do a scroll. So she literally scrolled through and it changed the images that presented. And if you moused over images, they had a hover CSS that then revealed like an elevation to a section. Like if you want to play around with those types of things, you're more than welcome to, but it's not required. I would leave that with Rob's class. You'll get marked for that, while you won't get marked for that here. Okay? Cool. So I know just to explain to Julia, we've actually been doing a lot of coding workshops. We've done 3 weeks of coding workshops. Well, you weren't here, so I took the opportunity.
Very happy you did it when I was.
Exactly, no, because
Thank you for saving me from that pain.
exactly. So we've basically got through most of the coding workshops, okay? So today, let's start talking about getting this thing finished, okay? So the 4 of us will talk through getting everything ready for next week, because it's due next week. And final requirement for assignment 3, I want to see something for assignment 3 week 10. Okay? If I don't see it week 10, or Julie doesn't see it week 10, then we're going to mark you down, and that's going to affect your talking to us about the assignment as one of the marks. Okay? Because you've got a break, let's use it to do something, okay? Would you agree? Excellent. Let's finish the lecture now. There's nothing more.
You said if you the first Wednesday in the break last half.
Huh?
In last half.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's what I said in the email.
It's totally changed.
The first week, on the Wednesday.
So it's 93.
Yeah.
Okay.